The Imitation Game is a 2014 American historical drama film directed by Morten Tyldum and written by Graham Moore, based on the 1983 biography Alan Turing, The Enigma by Andrew Hodges. The film's title quotes the name of the game cryptanalyst Alan Turing proposed for answering the question "Can machines think?" in his 1950 seminal paper Computing Machinery and Intelligence. The film stars Benedict Cumberbatch as Turing, who decrypted German intelligence messages for the British government during World War II. Keira Knightley, Matthew Goode, Rory Kinnear, Charles Dance, and Mark Strong appear in supporting roles. The Imitation Game was released theatrically in the United States on November 28, 2014. The film grossed over $233 million worldwide on a $14 million production budget, making it the highest-grossing independent film of 2014. It received 8 nominations at the 87th Academy Awards, winning for Best Adapted Screenplay, 5 nominations at the 72nd Golden Globe Awards, and 3 nominations at the 21st Screen Actors Guild Awards. It also received 9 BAFTA nominations, and won the People's Choice Award at the 39th Toronto International Film Festival. Early life and education. Keira Christina Knightley was born on March 26, 1985 in the London suburb of Teddington, to stage actors Will Knightley and Sharman MacDonald. She was meant to be named Keira, the anglicised form of Keira, after the Soviet figure skater Keira Ivanova, whom her father admired. However, MacDonald misspelled the name when she registered her daughter's birth certificate, writing the E before the I. Her father is English and her mother is of Scottish and Welsh descent. Knightley has an older brother, Caleb. MacDonald worked as a playwright after her acting career came to an end. Knightley's parents encountered substantial financial difficulties following the birth of her brother. Her father, a middling actor, agreed to a second child only if her mother sold a script first. However, her parents' varying degrees of success did not deter Knightley's curiosity about the profession. MacDonald introduced her own children to theatre and ballet very early. This inspired Knightley's interest in acting. Knightley attended Teddington School. She was diagnosed with dyslexia at age 6, but by the time she was 11, with her parents' support, she says, they deemed me to have got over it sufficiently. She is still a slow reader and cannot read out loud. Knightley has said she was single-minded about acting. At age 3, she requested to obtain an agent like her parents and secured one at 6. This led to her taking a number of small parts in television dramas. She acted in a number of local amateur productions, which included After Juliet, written by her mother, and United States, written by her drama teacher. Knightley began studying her A-levels at Esher College, but left after a year to pursue an acting career. Her mother's friends encouraged her to go to drama school, which she declined for financial and professional reasons. Career 1993–2002, Career beginnings and breakthrough. After obtaining an agent at age 6, Knightley began working in commercials and small television roles. Her first on-screen appearance was in the 1993 Screen 1 television episode titled Royal Celebration. She then played Natasha Jordan, a young girl whose mother is involved in an extramarital affair, in the romantic drama A Village Affair. After appearing in a spate of television films through the mid to late 1990s, including Innocent Lies, The Treasure Seekers, Coming Home, and Oliver Twist, Knightley landed the role of Sabe, Padme Amidala's handmaiden and decoy, in the 1999 science fiction blockbuster Star Wars, Episode 1 The Phantom Menace. Her dialogue was dubbed over by Natalie Portman, who played Padme. Knightley was cast in the role because of her close resemblance to Portman. Even the two actresses' mothers had difficulty telling their daughters apart when they were in full makeup. In her first major role, the 2001 Walt Disney Productions television film Princess of Thieves, Knightley played the daughter of Robin Hood. In preparation for the part, she trained for several weeks in archery, fencing, and riding. Concurrently, she appeared in The Hole, a thriller that received a direct-to-video release in the US. The film's director Nick Hamm described her as a young version of Julie Christie. Knightley also took on the role of Lara Antipova in the 2002 miniseries adaptation of Dr. Zhivago, to positive reviews and high ratings. In the same year, Knightley starred as a pregnant drug addict in Gillies MacKinnon's drama film Pure. CO starring Molly Parker and Harry Eden, the film had its world premiere at the 2002 Toronto International Film Festival. In a retrospect review for AboutFilm.com, Carlo Cavagna noted Knightley's screen presence and wrote that doesn't have half of Parker's ability. She has spunk and grit, shines brightly in Pure. Knightley landed a breakthrough role when she starred in Gurinder Chadha's sports comedy film Bend It Like Beckham, which was a box office hit in the UK and US. Knightley portrayed Jules, a tomboy football player struggling against social norms who convinces her friend to pursue the sport. The film surprised critics who were laudatory of its charming and inspiring nature, social context, and the cast's performances. Knightley and her CO star Parminder Nagra attracted international attention for their performances. Critic James Berardinelli, who was largely laudatory of the film and the energetic and likable cast, noted that Knightley and Nagra brought a lot of spirit to their instantly likable characters. To prepare for their roles, they underwent 3 months of extensive football training under the English football coach Simon Clifford. Knightley was initially skeptical of the project. In an interview with Tracy Smith she said, "I remember telling friends I was doing this girls' soccer movie and nobody thought that it was gonna be any good." 2003-2007, I Pirates of the Caribbean / I and worldwide recognition? None. 2008-2013, independent films and stage work. Knightley appeared alongside Sienna Miller, Cillian Murphy, and Matthew Rhys in John Mayberry's 2008 wartime drama The Edge of Love. The film had her play the role of Vera Phillips, a childhood friend of Welsh poet Dylan Thomas and his wife Caitlin McNamara. Knightley wrote the script with her mother, Sharman MacDonald, with McNamara in mind. After Knightley signed on, her character's role was increased with the film focusing on her romance with a British soldier. Knightley connected to Vera's quietness, and described her as tragic and beautiful. She based her performance on Marlene Dietrich, and was to mime to her pre-recorded voice, before being told by Mayberry to sing live. Knightley initially felt embarrassed to do so, saying she like a leaf, but eventually went through with the plan. Upon release, the film became a moderate critical and commercial success. Knightley's performance and singing abilities were praised. The Independent noted that Knightley gives Vera an independence and complexity that's eons ahead, while the Los Angeles Times wrote the film belongs to the women, with Knightley going from strength to strength. Knightley then starred as the 18th-century English aristocrat Georgiana Cavendish, Duchess of Devonshire in Saul Dibb's period drama The Duchess, based on the best-selling biographical novel, Georgiana, Duchess of Devonshire by Amanda Foreman. The film tells the story of Georgiana's rise in society as a socio-political tastemaker after her marriage disintegrates. The script Knightley was sent was covered in huge white ostrich feathers and a gold ribbon. Gabrielle Tana, the film's producer, stated Knightley brought an instinctive understanding of such aspects of Georgiana's life as a celebrity from her own experiences. Knightley was attracted to her character's strength and status as a political influence and fashion prowess, while being inwardly vulnerable and isolated. Simon Crook of Empire described her performance as an enigmatic, free-spirited turn in a role she'll be remembered for, probably her best role to date in a film not directed by Joe Wright. The following year, she was nominated for a British Independent Film Award for Best Actress. A film adaptation of William Shakespeare's tragedy King Lear set to star Knightley and Anthony Hopkins was cancelled due to recession. Knightley made her West End debut with Martin Crimp's version of Molière's comedy The Misanthrope. Starring Knightley, Damian Lewis, Tara Fitzgerald, and Dominic Rowan, the play was staged at the Comedy Theatre in December 2009. She portrayed Jennifer, a shallow, amorous, and vulnerable American film star who is courted by an analytical and voracious playwright. Knightley chose the role as she felt that if I don't do theatre right now, I think I'm going to start being too terrified to do it, and described the production as an extraordinary and incredibly fulfilling experience. She was skeptical of her performance. Paul Taylor of The Independent remarked that Knightley was not only strikingly convincing, but, at times, rather thrilling in its satiric aplomb. However, The Guardian's Michael Billington noted that due to the nature of the role, one could say that she is not unduly stretched. In recognition of her theatre debut, Knightley was nominated for the Laurence Olivier Award for Best Actress in a Supporting Role and an Evening Standard Award. Knightley began the new decade with 3 films. She remarked that her work during this period helped her empathize with people or with situations that I don't necessarily find it easy to empathize with. 2 of the productions, Masih Tajuddin's romantic drama Last Night and William Monahan's crime noir film London Boulevard, opened to mixed responses from critics and rank among the lowest-grossing films in Knightley's career. Knightley's other release, Never Let Me Go, an adaptation of Kazuo Ishijiro's novel of the same name, fared better at the box office and received positive reviews. Knightley described the script as unique, one that made the reader think. CO starring Andrew Garfield and Carey Mulligan, Knightley played Ruth, one of 3 graduates of an autocratic boarding school that discovers their fates in a dystopia. She appeared in a video installation by artist Stuart Pearson Wright titled Maze. Knightley starred in a 2011 revival of The Children's Hour by Lillian Hellman at the Comedy Theatre in London. She portrayed Karen Wright, an engaged schoolteacher accused of lesbianism in 1934. Ben Brantley of The New York Times commented that her performance showed an intensity and credible fierceness within the outdated material. Knightley's sole film release of 2011 was David Cronenberg's historical drama A Dangerous Method, CO starring Viggo Mortensen, Michael Fassbender, and Vincent Cassel. Based on writer Christopher Hampton's 2002 stage play The Talking Cure and set on the eve of World War I, the film depicts the turbulent relationships between fledgling psychiatrist Carl Jung, his mentor Sigmund Freud, and Sabina Spielrein. Knightley portrayed Spielrein, the troubled but beautiful young psychoanalyst who comes between Jung and Freud. Knightley spent 4 months reading and discussing her character's behavior with psychologists to prepare for the role. She appreciated the depth and variety of her character arc, which she viewed as rare for female roles. The film premiered at the 68th Venice International Film Festival to a positive reception, while Knightley earned generally favorable reviews by critics, with Andrew O'Hahir of Salon hailing her as the real star of this film. Knightley CO starred with Steve Carell in the 2012 comedy drama Seeking a Friend for the End of the World, which was critically panned. Later that year, she reunited with director Joe Wright to film their 3rd production, Anna Karenina, in which she starred as the title character. She deemed this collaboration the most important of her career. Knightley viewed that her character's complex moral culpability was in question, but attracted compassion. Knightley received positive reviews for her performance, prompting early Oscar buzz. Betsy Sharkey of the Los Angeles Times wrote that Knightley puts hearts and anguish on the line in trying to bring an emotional reality. The 2013 Toronto International Film Festival saw the premiere of Knightley's first musical film Begin Again with Mark Ruffalo. Directed by John Carney, the film had its theatrical release in 2014. The Guardian found Knightley and Ruffalo to be nicely natural as the increasingly idealistic musos. Carney later repeatedly criticized Knightley's performance in the film, saying she was not convincing enough in portraying a singer-songwriter and derogatorily referred to her as a model. He later apologized to her via Twitter for his comments. Knightley later remarked that music never sinks in for her, and she is more interested in books and drama. Later that year, she appeared in Karl Lagerfeld's short-period film Once Upon a Time. 2014-present, biographical and political roles. In July 2014, Knightley stated that she had reached the end of the first stage of her career, and wished to depart from neurotic roles. 2014 began for Knightley with the spy thriller Jack Ryan, Shadow Recruit, the fifth installment in the film series, alongside Chris Pine. She portrayed Dr. Kathy Muller, Ryan's eventual wife. Knightley sought to do a lighter film than her previous work, looked forward to working with director Kenneth Branagh. The film received mixed critical reviews, nonetheless strong box office response. Knightley's next film Laggies, premiered at the 2014 Sundance Film Festival. A romantic comedy also starring Chloe Grace Moretz and Sam Rockwell, the film follows the life of Megan, played by Knightley, a 28-year-old overeducated underachiever going through a quarter-life crisis. Knightley empathized with her character's delayed maturity and appreciated the film's telling from a female perspective. Laggies opened to mostly positive reviews from critics, with Knightley's performance praised by critics. Ng Ku Kong of The Wrap referred to her as a loose-limbed revelation and lauded her delightfully uncouth performance. The film was followed by her appearance in Morten Tyldum's historical drama The Imitation Game, a film based on the life of British mathematician Alan Turing, played by Benedict Cumberbatch. Knightley portrayed cryptanalyst and numismatist Joan Clark, who decrypted German intelligence codes for the British government during World War II with Turing. Knightley researched interviews with Clark, and sought to keep her upper-class quality, drawing on the depth of her emotions and protectiveness of Turing from the script. The Imitation Game became a critical and commercial success, grossing over $233.6 million. For her performance, Knightley received her second Academy Award and BAFTA Award nominations, and third Golden Globe Award nomination, all for Best Actress in a Supporting Role. Conversely, Lady Jean Ford, who worked with Clark and Turing, felt Knightley was nothing like Clark and was too beautiful to play her. Knightley's sole release in 2015 was as part of the ensemble cast in the biographical disaster film Everest. The film was based on the 1996 Mount Everest disaster, with Knightley portraying mountaineer Rob Hall's wife. Everest opened to generally positive reviews from critics. Variety wrote that Knightley gave a deeply felt performance as a woman haunted by the possibility of losing her spouse. In October 2015, Knightley made her Broadway debut playing the title role in Helen Edmondson's adaptation of Émile Zola's Thérèse Raquin at Studio 54. Knightley took the role after turning down the project twice, as she thought herself incapable of playing the part. She found interest in her character's caged circumstance, as well as her dark, active role in the play, as she sought to depart from passive supporting roles. Of her performance, Alexandra Villarreal of the Huffington Post wrote, "She fumes, and rages, and withdraws, and you can watch her psychological evolution from stifled wife to impassioned mistress to haunted murderer." In 2016, it emerged that Knightley was set to star in a feature biopic about 18th-century Russian Empress Catherine the Great, directed by Barbra Streisand, which has not come to fruition. Knightley appeared in the ensemble drama Collateral Beauty, alongside Will Smith, Edward Norton, Kate Winslet, and Helen Mirren. The film was critically panned, and earned the cast a Razzie nomination. Despite previously stating on a number of occasions that she would never return to the Pirates of the Caribbean series, Knightley reprised the role of Elizabeth Swann with a cameo appearance in 2017's Pirates of the Caribbean, Dead Men Tell No Tales, after test audiences repeatedly inquired about her character. Knightley starred in the biographical drama Colette as the titular French author. The film sees Colette's social ascent in Belle Époque society through her provocative novels, but she is exploited by her husband, who plagiarizes her work. Knightley believed the film connected strongly to modern-day feminism, and depicted cultural change in gender politics. To prepare for the part, Knightley read Colette's novels, among them The Vagabond and Cherie, and initially planned to visit her birthplace of Burgundy, France. She found the author inspiring, and admired her imperfections as well as her courage. The film, released at the Sundance Film Festival, was critically successful, with Knightley's performance receiving acclaim. Manala Dargis of The New York Times praised her vibrance and expressive physicality, and Jordan Hoffman of The Guardian wrote that the film saw Knightley in top form, luminous, clever, sexy, and sympathetic. Knightley was appointed Officer of the Order of the British Empire in the 2018 Birthday Honours for services to drama and charity. The same year, she played the Sugar Plum Fairy in Disney's adaptation of The Nutcracker, titled The Nutcracker and the Four Realms, which was critically panned. In 2019, Knightley co-starred in The Aftermath, a film adaptation of the novel by Redian Brooke, alongside Alexander Skarsgård. Knightley played Rachel, a cold and complex British Army wife traumatized by her son's death by a German bomb. The film sees her and her husband move to Germany while dealing with grief. The film received mixed reviews. The Boston Globe's Ty Burr credited Knightley for adding conviction, grace, heart, and nerve to the film, while Katie Walsh of the Los Angeles Times felt Knightley and Skarsgård were too reserved. Knightley portrayed whistleblower Catherine Gunn in Official Secrets, which was premiered at the Sundance Film Festival on January 28, 2019 to positive reviews. Knightley believed the film's depiction of Iraq War and government accountability connected with modern politics. Writing for The Guardian, Peter Bradshaw praised Knightley's focused, plausible and sympathetic performance. Gunn also expressed her contentment with the film. Knightley's first role of the decade was feminist activist Sally Alexander in Misbehavior, a film about the crowning of the first black contestant at the 1970 Miss World competition. The film discusses the nuances of intersectionality in second-wave feminism. Knightley was drawn to the political aspects of the project. Misbehavior was received positively, with Variety's Guy Lodge dubbing Knightley likable as ever but admitted she portrays the least intriguing figure. Knightley was due to produce and star in The Essex Serpent, an Apple TV and adaptation of Sarah Perry's novel, but dropped out over concerns about access to childcare during the lockdown period of the COVID-19 pandemic. She starred in the 2021 holiday comedy Silent Night. Knightley voiced the lead role in the dramatic animated film Charlotte, a true story about a young artist during the Holocaust. Upcoming projects. Public image. Off-screen, Jeffrey McNabb of The Independent describes Knightley as sensible and self-deprecating, and Elizabeth Day of Harper's Bazaar says of Knightley's persona, "She is extremely nice, swears more than you might think, and yes, effortlessly beautiful." Writing for The New York Times, Jessie McKinley stated that Knightley is known for her ability to sparkle and charm in several accents, while her Therese Raquin co-star, Judith Light, praised her down-to-earth demeanor, intelligence, and sense of humor. Knightley has been described as famously open with media, though she has asserted the contrary. During the 2000s, Knightley faced an extraordinary amount of vitriol from the press. The Guardian wrote that if she is not too pretty to be worthy of her success, she is too posh, too thin. If there is a more valid reason why, they often struggle to articulate it. Despite multiple successful films and award nominations, the criticism affected her, and Knightley felt that she didn't know trade. Media scrutiny decreased as her career progressed, and she spaces out her public appearances to maintain attention on her films. Beginning in the 2010s, Knightley regained confidence in her abilities, and by the release of Colette, she felt she had learned her craft and mentally occupied a good place where I feel pretty confident about what I can do. Knightley has been widely recognized for her extensive repertoire of period dramas throughout her career. She identifies with breakout of that image of femininity and appreciates period films' overt cage to demonstrate such. Writer Anne Helen Peterson states that the varying personalities of her historical roles are united in the larger idea Knightley represents, that of women ostensibly performing a version of proper womanhood all while quietly negotiating, or cracking under, the weight of doing so. She has criticized contemporary set films, finding their depiction of sexual violence against women excessive. Knightley is reputed for her signature strong female lead roles, and she has been compared to actresses Katharine Hepburn, Greta Garbo, Audrey Hepburn, and Nicole Kidman. In a 2004 BBC poll, she was named among the most influential people in British culture. Knightley has often been ascribed to the English rose archetype. Knightley has been included several times on FHM's 100 Sexiest Women in the World list, making her first appearance in 2004 and topping the list in 2006. She was included in every subsequent issue until 2009. She was part of the American editions of the list from 2004 to 2006, and was also placed 9th on the Maxim Hot 100 list in 2006. Other ventures: advocacy and philanthropy. Knightley received media attention for her perspectives on feminism, voiced in an interview with Harper's Bazaar UK published in the February 2014 edition. She explained that women face greater hurdles in the film industry compared to their male counterparts, and also revealed that she was perplexed by the use of feminist in a derogatory sense. Knightley posed topless for the September 2014 cover of Interview magazine, on condition that the image not be digitally altered, to draw attention to how women's bodies are a battleground and photography is partly to blame. For International Women's Day 2014, Knightley was one of the artist signatories of Amnesty International's letter to British Prime Minister David Cameron, in which the organisation campaigned for women's rights in Afghanistan. After the birth of her first daughter, she penned an essay about childbirth, entitled The Weaker Sex, featured in the collection Feminists Don't Wear Pink and Other Lies. Knightley does not shoot nude scenes for her films, unless directed by a female filmmaker. Knightley is the face of an Amnesty International campaign to support human rights, marking the 60th anniversary of the United Nations Universal Declaration of Human Rights. In 2004, she traveled to Ethiopia alongside Richard Curtis, Sanjeev Bhaskar, and Julian Metcalfe on behalf of the comic relief charity. She posed for photos for WaterAid in 2005 and also for the American Library Association's Read campaign. The dress she wore to the 2006 Academy Awards was donated to the charity Oxfam, where it raised £4,300. In April 2009, Knightley appeared in a video to raise awareness of domestic abuse entitled Cut Shot for Women's Aid. The video created controversy, with some sources calling it too graphic, while other groups support the video for showing a realistic depiction of domestic violence. In November 2010, Knightley became patron of the SMA Trust, a British charity that funds medical research into the disease spinal muscular atrophy. In July 2014, Knightley travelled to South Sudan on behalf of Oxfam to meet refugees of the South Sudanese civil war and raise awareness of the conflict. In May 2016, Knightley signed a letter imploring Britain to vote Remain in the UK-EU referendum. The letter was also signed by John L. E. Kerr, Benedict Cumberbatch, and Danny Boyle among others. Later, she appeared in a video aimed at encouraging younger people to vote in the referendum. On September 12, 2016, Knightley, along with Cate Blanchett, Chiwetel Ejiofor, Peter Capaldi, Douglas Booth, Neil Gaiman, Jesse Eisenberg, Juliet Stevenson, Kit Harington, and Stanley Tucci, appeared in a video from the United Nations Refugee Agency UNRWA to help raise awareness of the global refugee crisis. The video, titled What They Took With Them, has the actors reading a poem, written by Jennifer Toxvig and inspired by primary accounts of refugees, and is part of UNRWA's Number with Refugees campaign, of which also includes a petition to governments to expand asylum to provide further shelter, integrating job opportunities, and education. In September 2016, Knightley Co. hosted a Night to Remember, part of the Green Carpet Challenge, a charity event highlighting sustainability within the fashion industry. In September 2017, Knightley traded stocks on behalf of the Spinal Muscular Atrophy charity SMA Trust as part of the BGC Charity Day, which was set up to commemorate the stockbrokers who were killed during the September 11 attacks. In April 2020, Knightley participated in a World Health Day livestream to raise money for charity during the COVID-19 pandemic. In June 2020, she and other celebrities designed a range of pin badges for the Number Pin Your Thanks campaign, dedicated to thanking essential workers. All profits went to NHS charities Together and Volunteering Matters. In October 2020, she backed Made by Dyslexia, a global campaign to help teachers address dyslexic strengths. It has trained 250,000 teachers and started an online program. Knightley participated in a skit entitled 2020 the Movie, commemorating Red Nose Day 2021. Fashion endorsements. Knightley was the celebrity face for the luxury goods brands Asprey and Shiatsu Chen as well as Lux haircare products in Japanese television commercials. In April 2006, she was confirmed as the new celebrity face of Chanel's perfume Coco Mademoiselle, though the first photo from the campaign was not released until May 2007. Knightley has appeared in television commercials for Chanel directed by Joe Wright since 2007, and has endorsed Chanel fine jewelry's collection Coco Crush. In 2008, Knightley was the highest-earning British Hollywood star according to the Forbes Celebrity 100 list and was named amongst the most bankable actors in 2009. Personal life. Knightley previously dated actors Del Sinnott, Jamie Dornan, and Rupert Friend. She began a relationship with musician James Wrighton in February 2011. They married on May 4, 2013 in Mazan, France. Knightley wore a Chanel knee-length grey tulle bustier dress for the ceremony, with accessories designed by Karl Lagerfeld. The couple had a second wedding ceremony for close friends, during which Knightley wore a lace Valentino gown with pink floral embroidery. They have 2 daughters together, born in 2015 and 2019. The family reside in Canonbury, Islington, London. Knightley advocates for equal paternity leave and has spoken about the expense of childcare in England. She remarked in 2016 on how lucky I've been to be able to afford really good childcare, otherwise it would be at least 4 years out of my career. She has no social media profiles in an effort to preserve her family's privacy. In 2007, Knightley won a libel case against the British tabloid Daily Mail after it falsely claimed that she had an eating disorder. She was awarded £3,000 in damages. She added to the sum and donated £6,000 to Beat, a charity for those with mental illness and eating disorders. In February 2010, a 41-year-old man was charged with harassment after trying to contact Knightley on several occasions outside the Comedy Theatre in London, where she starred in the play The Misanthrope. The subsequent trial folded after she was unavailable to testify in court. Another man was sentenced to 8 weeks in prison after harassing Knightley outside her home and stalking her in December 2016. Knightley took a break from working in 2006. Suggesting that she wanted to take some time off acting to travel and focus on her personal life. In 2018, Knightley revealed that she had a mental breakdown at age 22 and had been later diagnosed with post-traumatic stress disorder, since she struggled to adjust to her sudden rise to stardom. She recounted how she did not leave her home for 3 months up until early 2008, and needed to have hypnotherapy to prevent panic attacks so she could be able to attend that year's BAFTA Awards, where she was nominated for her performance in Atonement. Acting credits and awards. According to the review aggregator site Rotten Tomatoes, Knightley's most critically successful films are Bend It Like Beckham, Love Actually, Pirates of the Caribbean, The Curse of the Black Pearl, Pride and Prejudice, Atonement, The Duchess, Never Let Me Go, A Dangerous Method, The Imitation Game, Everest, Colette, Official Secrets, and Misbehavior. Her television appearances include Oliver Twist, Princess of Thieves, and Dr. Zhivago. On stage, Knightley has starred in The Misanthrope and The Children's Hour at the Harold Pinter Theatre, as well as in Therese Raquin at the Roundabout Theatre Company. Knightley has received 2 Academy Award nominations, Best Actress for Pride and Prejudice and Best Supporting Actress for The Imitation Game. She has been nominated at the Golden Globe Awards for the Best Actress Motion Picture Comedy or Musical, Best Actress Motion Picture Drama, Best Supporting Actress Motion Picture categories, for her performances in Pride and Prejudice, Atonement and The Imitation Game, respectively. Knightley has twice been nominated at the British Academy Film Awards, Best Actress in a Leading Role for Atonement, and Best Actress in a Supporting Role and for The Imitation Game. She also received nomination for a Laurence Olivier Award for Best Actress in a Supporting Role in a Play for The Misanthrope. She won the Empire Award for Best Actress for her performance in Atonement after 5 nominations.